Okay, next up, while plenty of startups are making their fortunes in software, the flip side is that software can end up costing companies an unexpected fortune. DevReady Academy's Anthony Spuntis has decided to address the issue with a podcast series after being approached by businesses that had wasted a combined $1 million on software development due to poor decisions and bad advice. Anthony is on Skype now to share his insights. Hi Anthony, welcome to Startup Daily.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Mate, there are some common mistakes that people make when they go hunting for software solutions. Can you take us through some of the biggest ones?
Yeah, so we've seen startups and entrepreneurs start from nothing and then jump straight into development the next day. And that's one of the key mistakes that a lot of them do. They think the quicker they can build something, the quicker they're going to get funding, potentially get to market. And that's a key misconception that a lot of them make. We've also seen a similar type mistake from like a startup organization inside of a corporate environment that does the same thing. So what other mistakes that they do is, besides just jumping into the development as quick as they can, they try and find the wrong team. Well, they don't try and find the wrong team, they find the wrong team without realizing it's the wrong team. So they get a lot of either yes people or people that don't actually focus on their outcome, deliver the right software that's going to scale with them and their idea. Then there's always the classic one, not having a defined enough business case in place. Are your customers actually going to use your idea? Now, we're a software consultancy and we help our clients work on these ideas. So this is where the idea of the podcast came from and where a lot of these common mistakes we've seen over the 12 years of our business. And it's always important that you're not the only one making these mistakes. So that's why this podcast was there to help people understand why those mistakes can be avoided, how they can be avoided, and it's not just all on you.
So what do you think is the most important part of the development process? What do you guys focus on when you're advising your clients?
So the most critical thing is always to focus on your customers. If you don't focus on your customers, you'll end up developing software for the wrong need or the wrong use case, and you won't end up getting the customers that you're after, and you'll either get either very small usage or no usage at all. So unless you focus on the customers and you know what your outcomes are and you're delivering value to those customers, you'll never develop the right piece of software. It's not like that movie Field of Dreams where build it, they will come. That never ever. Yeah, it's never just put something out there. There's just too many websites, too many apps, and not enough time for everyone's attention to just put something out there and hopefully you'll get the users. It's not like having a store on the main street where if you have your doors open, someone will eventually walk in. It's a lot of marketing and marketing with the right message to the users that are actually use that product and get value from it. So, for example, if Instagram wasn't marketing and telling you to share photos with people and friends you like, there'd just be a service there and no one would actually know what to do with it.
I was interested in one of the comments that you made that was like, better to spend $20,000 up front than $200,000 down the track and making this mistake. Is it that dramatic? Are people sort of burning through that much money with their ideas?
Yeah, it can actually be more than 200,000. One of our first episode in our podcast, a lady had spent over $400,000 getting to her idea, and that was about the fourth or fifth iteration of that platform. So unless you're focusing on the right thing from the very beginning, one mistake can lead down a path which can devastate your business, put you out of business, or just make you spend and waste a lot of money. And then that comes with challenges with then trying to increase further funding. If you haven't got a track record in place to prove that you can get that money, do something useful with that money. Now, we work with small businesses, obviously, as the larger the business, the more investment or a corporate, that problem grows exponentially. So it's not just necessarily a $200,000 problem, it could become a $2 million or even a $20 million problem down the track.
Ouch. Now, let's focus on the podcast. You're up to episode 30. Can I get a little bit of a hack from you? Which apps should I listen to first? Should I start with one and work my way through?
Yeah, so would be a classic example is the episode 1, which gives you all the ups and downs of a startup that's gone through bad team, spending money on the wrong thing, having other problems, external issues come in, and then finally getting a product that's working in their business. Trying to think of another key episode now. There's a few other ones. Tim Walmsley, I think that was number 17, maybe, something like that. And then we've got, I think it's 30 episodes all up. There's 15 episodes with startup founders and then 15 episodes with different experts and advisors and investors throughout the series.
So there's some incredible ones there. You've got Adam Jacoby from the esports. There's some really cool startup founders across really broad sectors. Was there anything you've learned along the way that really surprised you in talking to them?
Yeah, probably the biggest surprise was they all think they're doing everything for the first time and the only one's going through this mistake. Or everyone thinks no one else is having this, it's a unique problem to myself. And we've probably thought that in our own business as well, but it's the same stories just keep coming out over and over and over. And then that's why we made the podcast, is to get these ideas and stories and learnings out to other startups. We're here to help other businesses succeed, and we're hopefully sharing this information with them so they can learn what not to do and go on the right path to success. No one wants to see a small business fail, especially when they're putting their own investment and time and money into a product that they believe in.
So Anthony, before we let you go, we've got lots of founders watching. What are your key tips for founders that are about to enter the development phase, other than listening to the podcast?
Yeah, so if you're about to jump into the development phase and getting your product out to market, don't jump into it yet. Make sure that you're ready to start development. There's nothing more wrong with going through and jumping into development without being ready. It's the same like building a house. You don't just go to a concreter and a bricklayer and start putting the house together. You get through an architect and get it designed and planned and make sure it's built to your needs. The same thing has to happen with software. Your software needs to be focused and catered on the users of the platform, your customers. It has to be delivering the right value, and this has to be known up front. And then if you're focusing on that constantly, you can always evolve and point your development focus back to those outcomes to deliver on. Another thing is a lot of founders end up trying to make the perfect product. Now, there's no such thing as perfect. They're close enough is good enough is what we'd like to say, because it's always, what ends up happening is you just get stuck into a revolving door of trying to perfect little tweaks and never releasing anything. And by never releasing, you can miss your chance, or you'll just lose value investment that you've never gone out to market with. So it's always release. It's never perfect. Iterate and focus on your outcomes and your goals up front, and help that guide the process all the way through.
Anthony, fantastic advice. For anyone who's interested, they should jump on DevReady.academy and they'll find all the podcasts there. Well worth a listen. I know, I think the weather's going to be a bit of a shocker this weekend, so I know what I'll be listening to on the couch. Thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and your advice.
Thanks. Hope you enjoy, guys.